Grand Rising. We're just trying to put ourselves together.
We have
Good
light.
morning.
Let there be light, everybody. Oh,
Yeah.
Grand Rising. I know, coming in hot again. I feel like.
Well, we were both kind of like,
right? And
trying to do this and that. Yeah, there you go.
So this is Sandy. Everybody coming at you hot live from the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers with Matt Thomson again for this week's installment of Rise Up Breathwork as I attempt to breathe through my nose and not through my mouth, as I have been struggling, like a lot of us, with this seasonal congestion and cold. There's so much stuff going on right now with the world, and I just really enjoy the fact that I get to show up here every day and be accountable not only for my health, but to also just kind of bring breath work or breath awareness to the masses. This has been one of my missions for the last, well, basically over 30 years now. I have been an activist for plant medicine. My fascination with hemp actually started in 1991, Matt.
Wow.
It's a story that I love to tell. I was dropped off at the MacArthur Library in Biddeford, Maine in 1991, where I was able to unearth all of the amazing facts about our history regarding policy, politics, and the law, and why cannabis was made illegal in the first place, which of course was a ton of corruption, which I'm not even going to get into. But when I was just 13 years old, Matt, I actually realized that hemp had the potential to save the world for fuel, fiber, food, fabric, building fabrication. Literally, guys, we could actually replace plastic, okay, with this plant. And I was mad. I was a 13-year-old precocious, curious, child who was like, wait a minute, we learned about renewable energy in third grade. This is a plant that comes to fruition in 120 days, and we could stop cutting down trees, and we could make paper with this. And not only that, the paper would be acid free and the books would actually last hundreds of years instead of just a couple of decades. I mean, I've been fighting for this whole plant medicine thing for quite some time. And now my shift has really been with energy medicine, because there's a stigma associated with these modalities for healing that aren't prescribed, right? That don't come in a bottle, that aren't in a pill form. But I'm here to tell you, breath work itself is medicine. Moving your body, somatic healing is medicine, right? Like getting in tune with what your body is telling you and the signals is so much more powerful than what any man or any doctor or any other human can tell you about what is going on with you, right? So my mission is to really help people drop in, tap in, and I even dare say tune out of what the rest of the mainstream media is telling you. So thank you so much for tuning in to our little podcast here at the People's Congregation. And if you guys would like to find out more about my mission, please go to pcsam.org and sign up for our newsletter. We have a lot of things that we're trying to manifest in this community, mostly based around self-reliance, resilience, sustainability, and really figuring out the equation in terms of leaving a legacy for our children and the future generations to say, hey, we actually cared. We cared about the world that we were going to be leaving to the future generations. So this is also, I'm on many missions, but the mission is big and it keeps getting bigger because of the support of people like you. So as we get more members and as we raise more money, we have a dream. The dream now is to open an agricultural retreat center. So here in Weymouth Landing at 63 Washington Street, you will find our Education and Resource Center, which is what I like to call a preparation and integration center for all things plant and energy medicine. So if you are curious about how alternative healing modalities have helped myself or Matt or Anna or Sarah or any of our other leaders here, then please follow us because it's been a pretty fun and interesting journey thus far. And I am so blessed to live this life and have these freedoms to be able to express myself and tell my truth and share my stories. Because again, I know if I was born in another country, I wouldn't have this luxury. And I did also want to just shout out Green Network Providers, who is my other 501c3 nonprofit that I strongly support. And they were so amazing. And they presented my birth story to Sigma, which is the International Association of cannabis, of nurses just in the world, right? So basically what happened this year is the ANA, the American Nurses Association, deemed cannabis nursing a specialty. So after all these years and all these decades of cannabis being prohibited, the nurses have stepped up, and we all know they are the champions in the healthcare system. They're the ones that are really dealing with the palliative care and the patients really directly, right? And they're the ones that are informing the doctors. So these nurses bravely and boldly stood up to this international honor society, and they spoke the truth about what a lot of us humans are experiencing when we choose plants over pharmaceuticals. So my birth story was featured for 3 minutes in this hour-long presentation, and it was probably one of the most proud moments in my entire career, because it was a validation that my choice matters and that I know I was intuitively being safe and that I was not harming my child, and there's so little research done on pharmaceuticals that women choose to stay on when they are pregnant. And I don't judge that, because I know it is dangerous for a woman to suddenly stop taking an SSRI or stop taking even an opiate when they become pregnant. So what do? They stay on methadone, they stay on their Prozac, and then what happens? There's a consequence. The baby has to withdraw from those pharmaceuticals, and that is something that they have to live with. Well, I'm here to tell you, when I use small amounts of cannabis to manage my symptoms of pain and inability to sleep and stress, my children did not have to come off of cannabinoids. In fact, our bodies want cannabinoids in us, and when you breastfeed your baby, you endogenously produce cannabinoids that end up in your breast milk to inform that baby's new system and to nourish that baby's entire situation. So I am here to say that plants are part of the equation, breathing is part of the equation, and just keep using your intuition, and don't beat yourself up if you do, need to reach for something every now and then to ease a symptom, but also know that it doesn't always have to come from a doctor. It can come from your community members. It can come from something that you grow or forage and make yourself. Self-reliance is one of our pillars here, and I'm just a champion of that, and I'm just really fired up this morning, Matt. So that was my 2 cents about today. And also, we're coming upon winter solstice. So it's been this slowly creeping in as the days are getting shorter and the dark has become more illuminated, which is an oxymoron, but really we are spending more time in the dark and out of the sun, and it's a great time to set your intentions for the new year, for you want to start to happen as you see the days start to grow longer and the sun starts to come back out, right? So as we go into our breath work today, I am going to set the intention that I am going to try to think about 13 different kind of inspirations for myself for as we step into this new dynamic and into this new year, how I want to see the world change. Because we are the change, right? So I'm gonna set my intention today that I want to end this year on a high note, with a lot of inspiration as to how I want to proceed in 2024 and the year of the dragon, which has been traditionally known to bring fortune, to the family. So I'm going to keep manifesting more of that type of stuff today in my session. That's nice. my intention. Yeah, that was a lot.
I think sometimes the brutal part of sometimes people think spirituality is bliss and all this good stuff, and I don't think, well, I really shouldn't say this, but it's a hard. And so I was going to do a grounding thing today, and because we're so used to reacting to the environment, of what's going on around us, and we have these reactions and our brains going, and what we're never taught, what you were saying, using the breath, and how do we use it as a tool for, say, medicine or good health, or for even what we're going to do today is this grounding exercise to help bring our system into alignment so that we can you can go to your meeting today and be in that power of Sandy completely. You're in total alignment. No parts of your system are out of alignment. And if if we could if the body and the energies within us could become like the control center, and the brain was to become the assistant. And it's like a hard switch over, because it's like if we're fighting something or trying to quit something or trying to create like some change within our journey, like sometimes we have to really like bear down and grunt the energies that are so uncomfortable and kind of work through that system a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense.
It totally
but
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you attract what you put out, right? Like everything has a ripple. Everything you intend, that's like the magic of the work, right? It's like you can take a crystal and believe that this crystal is going to, amplify the healing powers of, something. But really, I think it's the mind and the interaction between the tool and you're being an active participant in its result, which is like, I feel like people mindlessly take the pills and they just like, I want to be fixed, right? What we're trying to do is say, actually, you are an active participant in your own destiny and in your own healing. And it's really not anybody else's responsibility to heal you. You have to want to heal and you have to show up for yourself, and becoming more grounded is awesome. I mean, I'm here to calm my central nervous system. Let's face it. We've been talking about that for years now.
And I think the system of like Western medicine, coming from the Rockefeller family, is basically just a Band-Aid versus like actually treating like the symptoms and the problems, so that we don't have things be reoccurring. Because we can fix anything. Unless the body gets to a point, obviously, like what I'm going to be going through is my body got to a point where it can't fix. And so, but for the most part, it can always fix itself. And until we get to that one point where we need a little bit of help, which is okay. So like with the chakras, am I saying that right? I'm checking with you.
Yes,
okay.
Chakras.
And, I think also like we're going to focus on that today a little bit with each energy center. And I invite you today to think, because I think a lot of times when we think about it, we think about like the heart, we're like right here, or we're always thinking in front. So I'm going to invite you today to let's switch it and let's think the spine. And have the energy center come from the spine, because that's actually really the birth of the energy of each center is coming from the spine and not from the front of the body. And so as we drop into this today, just to put this out there now, just to contemplate the idea of when I'm going to offer to become aware or to really tune in to the bottom of your feet, the root, which is the tailbone, the sacral, which is below the belly button, the solar, which is above the belly button, heart, throat, third eye, crown. So minus the third eye and the crown, because it's within the mind, but from the throat down, we're going to really focus on attuning and become really heightened with our awareness coming from the spine. And then we can let that energy fill out into the space and come out to the front. Does that make sense?
It does. It's interesting because what comes to mind is the saying, "I got your back."
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I love that.
And I am very blessed that when I get a lot of sensations in my body when I have like a thought or when I have like a download or a connection to other humans or even the divine. I will often either get like chills up my leg or tingling in my spine. And I never really thought about the association of where the tingle in my spine happens and how it correlates to a chakra.
Absolutely.
So you are making me think that, again, I need to be even more, as I become more aware of the messages that my body is telling me, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention now to like where in my spine I'm actually receiving the, sensation, and then how that corresponds to chakras, emotions, And again, as just another way to sort of like process and release. So that's actually, I love that. I got your back. You got my back.
Okay, I got your
All
back.
right, I'm gonna go.
So I'm gonna ask you to just take your shoes off. So everyone out there,
I'm gonna go to the mat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Right ahead. I'm just gonna invite everyone to take their shoes off so that you can ground more properly with the earth. And I'm just gonna invite, as you sit or to lay down, for today, I'm just gonna invite you to, if possible, to place your feet flat on the floor. And just to tune into your breath in any way, having that awareness of how you're breathing, having that awareness maybe of just tuning into the body for a moment, and just maybe even allowing for the body to breathe you. Like, what's it asking for? Like what we were just saying. So like as you're tuning into the body with whatever breath is working for you, maybe just becoming aware of the contact points of the body and the surface that you lay upon or sit. Allowing for the awareness of these contact points to maybe bring you a little bit more into the body. Any thoughts, situations arising within the mind, maybe just putting them away. I like to try and create different things as I'm doing this. So maybe today, let's create each situation in your life to become a fish and to place it into a tank, and let just let them swim around. We don't really have to bring them up right now as we bring our awareness to our breath, to the contact points, maybe falling, dropping a little bit deeper into the body. And as we become aware of these contact points and the weight of the body is becoming lighter on the surface that you lay upon, and just allowing a connection with our beautiful bodies. We always think of like exercise and fitness and running and all that, but like how much do we really tune in? Like what's the body asking for? I did a piece last night on something and it was mind-blowing. And the dreams that I had last night that went along with this session I had was remarkable. And it was really just because of the attunement I had, not only with the breath, but with the body and with the energy system. And now, as you're sinking a little bit deeper into the body, I invite you to bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet, at the same time having the awareness of your breath, maybe just doing the nose breath. So simultaneously having awareness of the breath, bringing you in, and having that awareness of the soles of your feet. Really just tuning into these two parts of you. And on your inhales, I'm just going to invite you to gently draw energy from the earth up through your roots, connecting to the soles of your feet, and maybe asking permission of the earth or Mother Gaia to be connected and grounded to the earth. And to really bring offering here attention, awareness to the breath, into the soles of your feet, drawing the energy up from the earth into the system. Maybe dropping a little bit deeper in because you have this awareness and attunement to the soles of your feet and your breath at the same time. Feeling the energy of the earth, the intelligence of the earth communicating to you directly. And while we're maintaining our awareness of the breath, we're now going to bring our awareness to the tailbone, to the root, or the first energy center. And so now I'm just going to invite in a awareness to the breath and to the root. And right at the tailbone, just bring your attention to the tailbone is the invitation here. Breathe in the frequency. This is specific for the root. And as you're breathing into the root, I invite you to just become familiar with it. If there's any tightness or heaviness with this center, to breathe into that heaviness, and on the exhale, really pushing that knot, pushing the heaviness out of you or out through the body. And just allowing for the center to maybe become more expansive. I'm going to invite in a nose breath with an exhale coming out through the mouth for this next part, for the next few minutes, if you can stay with this breath. And so now to connect the earth to the root. And so I invite you to, on the inhale, to draw the energy from the feet up to the root, and on the exhale to bring the energy back and return it to the earth. And just imagine or bring the awareness or thinking of beginning to feel the energy from the earth traveling up from the feet right to the root. And just really falling into this flow of energy. Just breathing in the sounds, my voice, any natural sounds. And so through this whole exercise, I'm really getting there. And now to bring our attention to the sacral, which is the energy center below the belly button, like the sexual organ.